There's a roller coaster that was only open for 6 days before being shut down for the last 100. Yes, it is Top Thrill 2, a roller coaster that takes riders 420 feet into the air, also going at over 100 miles per hour. Well, an announcement from Cedar Fair says that roller coaster will not be opening until 2024, and it looks like they might have unfollowed the makers of the roller coaster on Instagram. Let's talk about some drama here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is the man that I go to when I don't want to do my homework on Top Thrill 2. I'm just kidding. I did a little bit of homework, but not nearly to the level that Mr. VashSky does. Vash, do you have the need for speed?
I got the need for speed, and we're not going anywhere, unfortunately. Top Thrill 2 is not going to be opening, at least in 2024, anyway. And Jonas, we've been left in the dark on this coaster for quite some time. We had so many people come out to us, reach out to us actually, and say, hey, look, listen, you guys should cover this because the coaster enthusiast community is very concerned about this, haven't heard anything. There's been a lot of rampant speculation. And fortunately, over the last couple of days, we've had a flurry of events that kind of nail this down and provide some answers.
For those of you who have no idea, which is even the other That Park Place people, WDW Pro, I don't think he even knew, we recorded a video about Top Thrill 2. There had been no activity on Top Thrill 2 for 106 days, some ridiculous amount of times. We're like, yeah, we'll cover Top Thrill 2. As soon as we finished recording, there was an announcement that this ride will not be opening at least in 2024. There were some other investigations that we had done on this one in particular, but let me bring up a little bit of a notification for you here. Here's a little drama for you as referenced at the start. This is from Cedar Point. Well, actually, sorry, from Sash Atlantis talking about Cedar Point. Cedar Point has unfollowed Zamperla Rides on Instagram. Or maybe that's actually X here. Yeah. We're looking at the X Twitter account here. Also, the announcement, it says no one that's not mentioned by Cedar Point can reply here. Just going to read it. Cedar Point tweeting on August 23rd at 5 p.m., an excellent time to record a couple extra videos. We sincerely appreciate your patience while Top Thrill 2's manufacturer Zamperla has been working diligently to complete a mechanical modification to the coaster vehicles. Unfortunately, the manufacturer will not be able to complete the modifications needed in time to reopen the coaster in 2024. We are extremely disappointed that we cannot open the ride this season, but remain committed to delivering a reliable, consistent, and unparalleled coaster experience for our guests in 2025. In the meantime, please accept our sincere apology for the disappointment and convenience. We look forward to having you visit us again in the future to enjoy the world-class ride, signature events, entertainment, and attractions that Cedar Point is known for, and we thank you for your continued support of our park. There's a couple of things I want to point out here, where they are together or could be together and where they are separate here. We sincerely appreciate your patience while Top Thrill 2's manufacturer, Zamperla, they're very specifically putting this on Zamperla here and not on Cedar Point. So that's interesting, of course. The previous ride, well, maybe I need to just stop talking here and throw this over to Vash. Vash, do you want to give a little bit of history, a little background for people who may not be familiar with this supposed to be state-of-the-art roller coaster?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, state of the art is indeed the thing, because technically this is a prototype of a prototype, as Zamperla has never done a coaster this large. But before we get to that, obviously we have to take you way back to the late 1990s, in which the first strata coaster of this kind of similar design was first opened not at Cedar Point, but actually at Knott's Berry Farm in the form of Accelerator. And that was done by Intamin as part of a hydraulic launch coaster that they created for them. And it was apparently so successful that Cedar Point was like, you know what? We need one too. And that's when they cleared land to install Top Thrill Dragster, which was the original incarnation of this attraction. That opens in 2003. And later on, the ultimate version of this in King Dakar, which is one of the largest coasters in North America still to this day. But Going back to Top Thrill Dragster, it was a rocky first couple of seasons for Top Thrill Dragster, especially had on its opening year a lot of downtime attached to this attraction. And that's one of the things that Cedar Point was looking to address when actually looking to reimagine this attraction. Unfortunately, these things didn't happen in time to forego an incident that happened a couple of years ago in which a large piece of the ride itself actually was thrust into the stands or the nearby waiting area for this attraction and struck a guest in the head. Fortunately, she suffered permanent brain damage from that, which was very, very unfortunate. That's when the attraction went down, and then it looks like at that point, Cedar Point attempted to contact not just Zamperla, but also Intamin, the original ride manufacturers. I did not know this, but according to El Toro Ryan, his sources, which he's very connected to this community, so I will defer to him on this. At least what he is saying is they did reach out to Intamin initially and try to negotiate a reimagining of this attraction at first. Apparently, that would have seen a nearby attraction also get torn down for maybe an expansion or some reimagining of the track. Cedar Point was not interested in that and started looking at other bidders to reimagine this attraction. That's when Zamperla comes into the picture. And Zamperla, well, they're known for flat rides. They've never done an attraction this large before. Wild mouse kind of coasters there, not things that shoot you 420 feet in the air at 120 miles per hour.
Let me, because I'm not a coaster enthusiast, this is the part where I get to bring my homework in to the video here. For those of you who are not coaster enthusiasts, just for reference, Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure over there at Islands of Adventure, that one is a 50-mile-an-hour roller coaster, and I actually believe that is Intamin.
Yes.
There's someone in the comments that's going to correct me on that. I'm not as sure about the manufacturer on that. If we're talking about the Incredible Hulk coaster, that one is B&M, and that is 67 miles an hour and has a drop of 104 feet. So still not up to that 420. And Velocicoaster, which is also over there at Islands of Adventure, that one goes only up to 70 miles an hour. So when we're talking about, and there's part of this where it's the speed and it's the smoothness and there's a lot of things that make you experience that in a different way here. When we're talking about, this is twice the speed, essentially, of some of these roller coasters, 3 times the speed when we're talking about Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. So this is a very tall, very fast roller coaster that is at points 4 times as high as some of these thrilling roller coasters there at Islands of Adventure. So this is a huge roller coaster, and there are only 2 roller coasters in the world that outclass it as far as speed goes. And those are not all currently operational either.
Yes. I believe you were telling me that King Dakar was having issues, and that is currently down right now. And also, too, you were saying
it's King Dakar has got it on speed and height. It is the current holder on the world's tallest complete circuit roller coaster, world's tallest roller coaster, and world's tallest roller coaster drop. It is currently beaten as fastest roller coaster by Formula Rossa. King Dakar is in New Jersey, Jackson, New Jersey specifically, at Six Flags Great Adventure. And Formula Rossa, that one is actually in Abu Dhabi at Ferrari World, and that one goes up to 150 miles per hour. And for height, that one only goes up 170 feet. But
yeah. Well, and Formula Rossa is also the one too, as well, that they give you glasses when you actually go on that ride, because you are going so fast that anything that were to be contacted by you on that coaster could be very damaging. So that's kind of how crazy it is over there. But yeah, to get to those speeds and so forth, to get to those heights, to get to that amount of force, even Intamin experienced these issues with the first accelerator and obviously Top Thrill Dragster, but also too with Maverick back in the day when they were trying to get to those higher speeds. They had to completely change the wheels themselves and use brand new materials because they were wearing out so quickly. When you're talking about this amount of acceleration, when you're talking about this level of physics, you just don't know what's going to go wrong. And it looks like Zamperla fell victim to that. This is a post by Ann Nutt, and I'm going to also give El Toro Ryan credit for finding some of this stuff out here. was able to find the original posts. You can see here, it looks like the problem has to deal with, well, with two things, but part of a larger issue when it comes to these lightning trains from Zamperla. They're kind of one could think of them as very similar to Intamin's design for like a Velocicoaster, for example. But you can see there's a bunch of cabling here attempting to monitor what we believe is to be the wheel assemblies for this. Not the wheels themselves, but the housings that these wheels actually sit in. Apparently, according to people on the inside, they may have resulted in stress fractures with those first 6 days of operation that they weren't anticipating. Also, too, you can see here from is Top Thrill 2 open? That's the Twitter account right there, or at Top Thrill status. These steel beams that you see arrowed in this photo, it looks like those are additional structural supports for these lightning trains. Apparently, one of the design features of these trains was that there would be as little welding as possible for these in order to not just keep down their costs, but also keep down their weights as well. And apparently they might have cut a little bit out of that design than they probably should have, just dealing with the forces, like we've said before. And they looks like Zamperla got themselves into trouble here. We've seen something similar to this for the apparent ride manufacturer for the replacement to Montezuma's Revenge over there in Knott's Farm. Cedar Fair offers up a contract. A company like Zamperla takes it, and now we find ourselves here where this attraction is not going to be open for the 2024 season. Obviously, the summer season has passed, and now they'll be switching to weekend-only operations over there at Cedar Point.
And this is interesting to me because obviously a separate design firm is taking over for an established design firm, and then they're having this problem. So I have to wonder if Intamin is being contracted in any way in order to consult on what is going on here with the quote unquote upgrade to Top Thrill 2 here. Now, at this point, I think we're looking at a 2% uptime, or is it?
Yes.
I guess maybe it's closer to 6% of 106 days, 100 days, something like that. I also want to point out, not a good sign for this roller coaster right now. If you go over to the Cedar Fair website, and they now have the update. We didn't get a chance to show this earlier, but even when Vash and I were going over this in the past, and we've had additional information from when we covered it the last time, they now have the update at the top. It's talking about the 120 miles an hour, 420 feet, only 2 minutes. So that's still quite a bit of track right there, but exhilarating race, reaching new heights. World, what are we getting down to here? Rev up with Top Thrill 2 gear, and it all says Top Thrill 2 Cedar Point 2024. Nowhere to go but back. That's funny if they end up having to revert on any designs here. But if you click that button, you go over to a 404 page not found for merchandise, which I think is. For me, that is probably one of the most condemning things that you can say for this attraction right here, for them to not even carry the merchandise on the website at this point. That to me says that they have bigger problems than just trying to get this thing working sometime within the next month or so. Now they're saying it's not going to be, well, at least 3 months. No, I guess 4 months if we're counting the rest of the year here. When does Cedar Fair operate? Are they an annual park?
Not really. They do go down for the winter. They're a very seasonal operation over there in Ohio. Yeah, they do have like their peak times, right? And that's really the summer season. That's where a lot of these coasters get the most of their use. And then I believe they're like rehabbed or taken off their tracks and so forth and stored during the winter season. So not an all year round operation like say Disney, for example. And this is very concerning, Jonas, for a number of reasons. And the earlier comments about Zamperla in particular, because we know that Cedar Fair historically in the past has just sworn off of entire manufacturers because of delivering a product that didn't meet expectations. We saw this with RNC, actually, with Steel Vengeance back in 2018. We've not seen a new RNC coaster in a Cedar Fair park ever since. And also Intamin themselves, after the Shoot the Rapids ride had an incident in 2013 in which the whole boat actually flipped over, injuring all 7 riders. And we didn't see any Intamin coasters in any Cedar Fair parks beyond that. Now, obviously, Six Flags and Cedar Fair have merged, so maybe that whole thing changes because, well, they have 40 parks, so you're going to limit your manufacturer base from which you get coasters if you keep doing stuff like that. But it sounds like maybe the trend continues with Semperla, and that's most unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a very good point about the merging of the two companies here. In fact, I wonder if the call was made after the merge to say that maybe someone else came in and said, no, we're just going to shut this down for another 4 months. If I were the people running this company, I imagine someone outside of park operations themselves for Cedar Point is probably wanting to know what in the world is going on with Top Thrill 2. Of course, whenever we ask a question like that, someone ends up reaching out in my DMs to say, hey, this is exactly what's going on with a ride like Top Thrill 2 or the Rivers of America or Carousel of Progress, etc. The people who watch this channel who know who they are know I just called them out by name here without calling them out by name. Thank you so much for those people. Of course, comment below if you got something to say. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.